What's up, Spurs fans? This is TomTheSpursDude talking Spurs basketball. The San Antonio Spurs have done a terrific job this season, Spurs fans. They have improved their record to 29-4. The San Antonio Spurs are on the verge of not only completing their best season record this year, the San Antonio Spurs have taken it to greater heights and depths. I'm going to break down with you what the San Antonio Spurs have done this season in regards to what players have stepped up the most, and what key games were pivotal in this season. Let me talk about that with you real quick. Well, as everyone knows, the San Antonio Spurs are off to their best start in franchise history. The San Antonio Spurs, with the commanding 29-4 Western Conference seeding right now, heading into the month of January. The schedule looks really good so far for Spurs fans. When you look at the schedule, we have teams coming up such as, let me bring that up real quick, the New York Knicks, which is January 4th, the Boston Celtics on January 5th, the Indiana Pacers on January 7th, the Minnesota Timberwolves on the 9th and 11th of January, followed by the Milwaukee Bucks on January 12th, the Dallas Mavericks on January 14th, the Denver Nuggets on the 16th, the Toronto Raptors on the 19th, the New York Knicks once again on the 21st, the New Orleans Hornets on the 22nd, the Golden State Warriors on the 24th, the Utah Jazz on the 26th, and the Houston Rockets on the 29th of January 2011. So with that said, Spurs fans, looking at the Spurs schedule coming up, January looks pretty easy for the Spurs. It looks like a lot of games they will be able to win without having to worry about having to play against teams that are probably just as good as them or competitive as them. The Spurs won't have to worry about that in January as far as winning percentages go against opponents. So that's a good sign for Spurs fans. Good sign. And not to mention that the Spurs have done such a good job the beginning of the season, from the month of October up until now, January. The Spurs have kept their season on a good flow. They have brought in players such as Gary Neal. They have improved their players. From George Hill to DeJuan Blair. DeJuan Blair right here. See the shirt? Not just these guys, but so many Spurs. Monty Ginobili, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Matt Bonner, Tiago Splitter. The list goes on and on. But one of my favorite Spurs this year has been George Hill and Gary Neal. These two have really stepped up for the Spurs. They have come in and they have just taken over. George Hill, you saw how he played against the Los Angeles Lakers. The defense George Hill played. I'll try to throw in some highlights of that real quick. In a minute, you'll be able to see those highlights. Also, DeJuan Blair getting in the act of things, making plays, getting rebounds, and such things. Gary Neal has been a great addition to the Spurs, adding more shooting depth. That's something that the Spurs needed. Someone that could come in, hit open jumpers, spread the offense, spread the defense of that matter, and just give the Spurs an extra weapon on the offensive end. And not to mention guys like Matt Bonner. There's so many other guys out there that just contribute to the Spurs. And what's pretty amazing is that they have a guy by the name of James Anderson, which has missed almost pretty much the whole season up until now. He's expected back sometime in February. Maybe he'll be back in January. But James Anderson is another rookie that the Spurs have that they have yet to utilize, and that's the only reason why they haven't been able to use James Anderson is because he's been out with an injury. But that's also another weapon the Spurs have. But talking about how the Spurs have played this season, the Spurs have been playing great Spurs basketball, and I expect the San Antonio Spurs to continue their winning ways into the months of January, February, March, and April. This is Tom the Spurs Dude, everybody. Thanks for watching. Shoutouts to ProjectSpurs.com, and shoutouts to everyone involved in the San Antonio Spurs organization.
DJ Khaled! Yeah. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Ludacris going in on the verse, cause I never been defeated and I won't stop now. Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't making it and my folks locked down. I never went nowhere, but they saying Luda's back. Blame it on that contour, the hood call it Luda-yak. And I'm on this foolish track, so I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up and down, like strippers' booties go. My verses still be serving, tight like a million virgins. Last time on a college remix, now I'm on the original version. Can't never count me out, y'all better count me in. Got 20 bank accounts, accountants count me in. Make millions every year, but South's champion. Cause all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there. Swerving in my low-low, head on the swivel, you know serving me's a no-no. Clean as a whistle as I pull out in my Rolls Royce. Yellow bone passenger, they see it, they say, oh boy. Tell Kelly, back it up, my niggas call me loco. Driving on traffic, and I make me pull that moto. Ask you what you laughing at, represent that mud life. Dirty money, bitch, you better get your mud right. We come together, holding hands and holler hood life. We all strapping all black, it's like Bud Light. You riding or what? Cause we riding tonight. Now you riding with me cause you wasn't riding. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Heat in the kitchen, hot on the stove, water getting boiled, dope being sold, Snoopy in the hootie, system overload. I've been running this rap game since I was 20 years old. I hung with the worst of them.